I wasn't expecting a return from Borat. I certainly wasn't expecting Rudy Giuliani to show up in it. He might not have either, but unfortunately for him, he has. And they apparently had this scene that's gonna be in the movie where he's interviewed by this reporter, and then he lays down on his bed in the hotel and his hands go down his pants. And the scene ends with Mr. Cohen, Sacha Baron Cohen, dressed in an outlandish pink costume, bursting into the room and shouting that the woman, played by the actor Maria Bakalova, was 15 years old. She's actually 24, but the joke is that she was 15. And there you're seeing an unfortunate image. Now, Rudy does want to try to explain this, so let's be fair, Ben. Let's hear a little bit of Rudy on 77 WABC yesterday, trying to explain how that image came about.
I mean, they'll do anything. They've attacked me over everything possible, investigated every business dealing I ever had. And now the idiot Borat is going after me with a totally sensationalized, false account of a ridiculous movie, I guess, that he's done. Now, let me tell you why I know this is a hit job that happens, because it's not an accident that it happens when I turn in all this evidence on their prince and darling, Joe Biden, who's one of the biggest crooks in the last 30 years. And since I have the courage to say that, I'm the target.
Okay, so we're gonna have the details on the shot later. So that one, Ben, is him saying that the only reason Sacha Baron Cohen is doing this is to protect Joe Biden. Right. Which I just, like, they filmed this months ago. Like, I don't think that's why he did it. I think Sacha Baron Cohen does this stuff all the time.
Yeah, no, he had the opportunity to do it, and so he just did it. And I'm sorry, even if you place it in the political context that Rudy Giuliani wants us to consider it in, nobody made you reach down your pants, fam, and lay back in the bed like you're ready to go. So that's on you. But I love the way that he's able to weasel his way out of it, but just by making it political.
Yeah, nobody made you reach in your pants. Just general good advice. Everybody, just when you're on Zoom, just keep that in mind. So here is Rudy explaining the shot.
There's all this sensational stuff about me in the movie. Don't know if it was added, doctored, manipulated, whatever. Let me tell you what happened. I went to an interview, seemed like a legitimate interview. I did the interview with the young woman who was new to interviewing, and I was being kind to her. At one point, she explained to me some problem she had. I actually prayed with her, and then I had to leave, and I had my jacket on. I was fully clothed at all times, and I had to take off the electronic equipment. And when the electronic equipment came off, some of it was in the back, and my shirt came a little out, although my clothes were entirely on. I leaned back, and I tucked my shirt in, and at that point, they have this picture they take, which looks doctored, but in any event, I'm tucking my shirt in. I assure you, that's all I was doing. When I get up, she says something about, do I want a massage? I realize now that this is a setup, and I call my security guy, Brian, who's right outside. I said, Brian, come in here. And then all of a sudden, crazy Sacha Baron Cohen runs in with a cape on, and he's yelling and screaming all kinds of stupid stuff. I said, Brian, very calmly say, Brian, call the police.
Okay, so that's an explanation. Ben, you've worn jackets and shirts. What do you think about that as an explanation?
So, if I look at the picture again, is he tucking his shirt in? I'm loath to give these people the benefit of the doubt, but I'd have to look at the picture again. It is very possible that he's tucking his shirt in, but it's also very possible and very highly likely he thought he was going to get some.
Yeah, it's Sacha Baron Cohen who, wants to create something funny. So I could see him exaggerating this. I can. I'm trying to be fair, even though Rudy Giuliani has done literally nothing for decades to deserve any fairness from anybody.
Exactly.
But Giuliani is also a raving madman who seems incredibly gullible. He's consistently accidentally butt dialing people and revealing secret information to reporters. Like, this guy pranks himself. So it's possible that he would have fallen into this. It's hard to say. Like, I've tucked in shirts quite a bit. Yeah. I don't think I've ever tucked in a shirt by laying down on a bed to do it. You stand up to tuck in a shirt.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to see the picture. There's a picture again. One thing I wouldn't do, to be sure, is to lay back in that kind of position, tucking in my shirt, with a beautiful young woman standing in front of me. Like that, I mean, just common sense is like have some. Yeah, no, he's excited.
Yeah, no.
He wants some right here. He's trying to go all the way right here. He's excited. He's wondering in that moment, like, how did I get? Oh man, this is the best thing that's happened to me all day long. That's what's in his mind.
Totally. Yeah, I don't. If I was being interviewed by a reporter, especially a female reporter, yeah. I'm not lying down on a bed ever. My hands aren't going in my pants ever. Jacket on or jacket off, right. Either way.
Right.
And if your electronic equipment was coming out, would it come out in the front rather than the back?
Right.
I don't know.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, at that stage and at that age, you don't do an interview with anybody in a hotel room by yourself. If your security guard is right outside the door, why isn't your security guard right inside the door, right, just outside of the shot? So, as a pro tip to anybody, just always assume that there's somebody around the corner with a camera.
Yeah, 100%. And so, look, I can't say for sure to what extent it is being made to look like something it's not. And so I'm also not gonna say that he was definitely trying to do something. I'm gonna give him 1/3 of a Tubin, I guess, and reserve judgment for the full release of the video. But I wanna add one or two other little details. So, and it was in the audio that you just heard. So here's the thing, I'm always suspicious when someone has to explain something and they offer multiple explanations. Usually there's one good explanation. So he gave an explanation for why he had to tuck in his shirt, okay? He also said it's doctored, it's added, it's been manipulated. So wait, which is it? You're saying you tucked in your shirt, but you're also implying that what we saw didn't happen. Which of those two is it? And that makes me just question whether you can trust him at all. I don't know, the stakes are low, it doesn't really matter, but I'm definitely more excited to see the video, the movie now.
Yeah, and to be fair, like I like Borat Cohen. I like his work, but sometimes his work is like it is a stretch. It is, they absolutely promote it harder than what it actually turns out to be. And some of the stuff I've seen from him, it's funny, but it's like, okay, this was a stretch.
Yeah.
So that's the only benefit of the doubt that I would give him. But if this was what Rudy Giuliani looks like it is, my condolences to whoever he's done this with before, because you just look at that picture and that's like has to be the most horrific things that anybody have to walk into and experience.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah,
you don't want that. And his daughter, I don't know if you saw, his daughter had some op-ed or something about how she's not that sort of Giuliani. Like she already had a tough time, and then this came out.
And now this. Wow.
Yeah, I like Sacha Baron Cohen stuff. I would say if somebody hasn't seen, you might remember he gave a speech like a year or two ago. I think it was mainly about misinformation online and about tech platforms. And it was awesome. I didn't necessarily agree with every single thing he said, but it was really good. Don't leave and go listen to it now, but at some point you should definitely listen to that. Like, yes, he is a madman, he's wacky, but he's not an idiot. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.